Hi, I'm Ina, certified business and life coach, founder of Thrive with Ina podcast, and a columnist for Intentional Living magazine. There's always room for improvement in your current situation, whether it's life, business, or relationships. I help women around the world to get equipped with the exact tools that are needed to propel to the next level. On this podcast, you can learn all the encouraging stories of incredible entrepreneurs, their hardships, and the exact tools to achieve success. You can also search for mindful meditation episodes that can help you get grounded in the chaos of life and business. You can get full access to my coaching platform and this podcast on www.thrivewithina.com. And now, tune into a new episode of Thrive with Ina podcast, and happy listening. Hello, everyone. So excited to be back here. I am your host, Ina of the Thrive with Ina podcast, and today we have a very special guest. Karen, with no further ado.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
So happy to be here, and it's so good to see you, Ina.
Likewise, we're very happy to have you on the podcast today. I've been dying to have you interviewed. You're such a incredible entrepreneur. I've been watching your journey myself, and I really cannot wait to share that with all the listeners of the podcast. So without delaying it any longer, tell us who are you and what is your business concept?
So obviously, I'm Karen Sullivan. I'm the owner and founder of the Wellness Stop, which is located here in Port Jefferson, New York. I'm also a certified functional medicine coach and nutritionist. And the brick and mortar space that we just created about a year and a half ago really is an extension of what I do on the nutrition side of my business. And like a crazy person that I am, I just actually expanded again in August, and now we have wellness services located within the building where we are. We purchased a red light bed from LightStim, which is like the best decision I ever made. And we also have an acupuncturist and a massage therapist on staff.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like a little expansion.
Yeah. And I live here in New York. I live in Port Jeff. I'm 57. I'm married. I have one child who's now 23, which is kind of crazy. And I have four dogs who are like,
I did not
yeah,
know
you didn't know that? I have four labs. I have four black labs. Yeah.
I did not know that. I love
Yeah, I'm
dogs.
like psycho dog mom. And I'm also a cancer survivor. I got cancer at 29.
Wow.
So cancer survivor, anxiety warrior, menopause warrior, just all things, women and, what our bodies go through. It's really incredible. I mean, it's incredible what our bodies endure. So
Yeah.
so I'm just grateful to offer love and support and do all the things that I do for women.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible the community you've built the few times that I've been in your establishment and participated in events or attended them as a guest. It is apparent that you are a staple of the community and you built a community that comes to you for all things Karen can supply with.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because I was actually almost retired about a year and a half ago. Almost. I'm 57, so this I opened the store. I was, 56. I'll be 58 next month. And my husband was like, what are you doing? Like you're supposed to be slowing down. But a lot of women my age, they are kind of starting to retire out of their 20 or 30-year careers, and then they're starting the next chapter. So I kind of feel like this was the next chapter. And I've always wanted to have a place of community, like you said, and a place for women to kind of have that resource, if they need a referral to anywhere, anything. And businesses and practitioners that are really credible and that are doing really amazing work for their communities too.
Yeah. It is absolutely insanely brave to start a business at any age, but especially
Yeah.
at the age when you're just like, you know what? I think I need some time for myself. Maybe I should retire. No, that's not the way we do things here, right?
No,
We're just
no.
all in. We're going to invest. We're going to start a brick and mortar. And I wanted to talk about that particular part of entrepreneurship. And in your
Mm.
case, it's displayed very brightly the bravery of the courage and the bravery of starting a business, especially a brick and mortar. That's a huge undertaking. So tell me
Yeah, it
about that.
is. It is. So I think for women, we go through these phases where our gut and the energy and the light that we have inside of us is shining very, very bright. And then we start to go through these phases where we get married, we have children, maybe, maybe not. We get very settled into that new rhythm of sharing our life experience with a partner. And some of that intuition and light that we have inside of ourselves, it doesn't go away, but it kind of sort of sometimes takes a little bit of a backseat. And we kind of stuff it down depending upon what we have going on and what we the careers maybe now that we have to stay in because now we have other people to provide for in our lives. I feel like with entrepreneurship it really needs to be where you've got this complete like insanely burning feeling inside of you that is like have to do this and you literally leave yourself no option to fail and you do it and you put your head down and you move forward and no matter all the noise and all the chatter that's around you where it could be your partner, it could be anybody, your family is telling you don't do it, you're like, no, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you just do it. And that's exactly what happened. Cause my husband, I'm 57. I've been with him since I was 17. We've been together 40 years,
Wow.
married almost 33. And he looked at me when I told him that I was gonna open this and do what I do. He said, "You're nuts. You're crazy. Nuts and crazy."
I take that
And
as
I
a
said,
compliment.
well, yeah, well, and also I think you do need to be a little crazy and a little like kind of I don't want to say unglued, but you do need to be a little kind of, I guess, fearless, really, is really the best word for it. And that's you just have to feel that inside and listen to that. And it's such a strong force that it's like you can't stop thinking about it.
I feel that.
You wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh my God, and you're writing stuff down, or that's all you're like completely obsessed and immersed in starting this business. And that's exactly what happened to me a year and a half ago and still does.
Yeah.
I mean, the fire of it all is still there, shining bright, even almost, we're getting to two year mark. So yeah, yeah, it's still there.
I love that. It's so true. And I honestly am, now that you said the word unglued, I am low key pondering in my mind if I should rename this podcast the Unglued instead of Thrive with podcast. I love this. I'll give you the credit too.
Yeah, well, I think you have to feel grounded in your decision of starting your business. You do have to be a little unglued and fearless. And even if because I can tell you unequivocally that most women don't feel confident. We don't. I mean, there are components of us inside. We may not show it on the outside, like me. I'm a very strong woman, but there are complete times that I completely feel unconfident of all the things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then I kind of take a step back and be like, all right, should I do this? Should I not do this? But I also think too, when you're starting a business, it is important though to not trudge through and be like a bull through the whole thing. I think that you do need to kind of stop along the way and take big giant deep breaths and really kind of see if like okay, like am I supposed to be pursuing this? You do have to take a moment, to really listen to that. I mean, there are product lines that we have in the store, that I carried a year and a half ago that are no longer here, right? And we are constantly pivoting, I think. And I think now in 2025, you have to do that. Maybe the model that you have in your head that's like ingrained in your head, you have to really reevaluate that model probably like every 6 months And if things are not really working well, you literally have to pivot. You have to. It's not, it's businesses now are not on
Yeah.
autopilot at all. Yeah, you're constantly, I think, not that you need to change the core of the model, but I think you do need to really just, make sure that you might need to tweak some things along the way. And we've done that already, like a few times over.
Yeah. When you say we, is it all you and your personalities? Because I say that all the time. I say we have, we that, and everyone's like, "Oh, you have a partner?" I'm like, "In
Mm.
fact,
Yeah, no,
I do, but they're all in here." I love that. You have
100%. Yeah, no, it's the we is me.
that.
Pretty much. I mean, like you're newly married,
Yeah.
right? So I am bouncing, my husband's name is Phil. I am bouncing ideas off of Phil all the time. And some of it, because he's a guy, I mean, some of it he gets and some of it he doesn't. But he's owned his own business for over 25
Yeah.
years. So clearly he knows what he's doing and literally started it from nothing, and I was part of that experience too. So that was an interesting ride also for many years. But I am the we probably, I guess, would be my husband. But yeah, no, there really is no one. It's really just me.
I love that. I love it. We is such an important thing in entrepreneurship because it makes you feel not alone.
Yeah, you're right. I know. I mean, I have 3 employees. I do, but they're working covering the store when I'm not here.
Yeah.
So that way I can do things like this and, try to attend a networking event
Yeah.
and do all those things, where we are peddling ourselves out because that's really what you're doing all the time. I feel like, I'm like, I have like, those like, you remember like back in the day, those like sandwich boards that you'd wear like on your body? I feel like all day long, like I've got this like sandwich board like on my body, and I am literally like walking around like, hey, here I am. You wanna, you need some of this, some of that. So yeah, like it's literally how I
You
feel
have a
all the
menu
time.
on that sandwich board
Yeah,
of all the
exactly,
tricks, all the hats. I love that.
exactly, exactly.
I love how much humor you're also bringing into entrepreneurship.
Oh, you have to. I mean, you have to. I mean, if you don't, I mean, I literally try to not take myself seriously ever. When I'm making business decisions, obviously, but most of the time I really try to sit in a place of love and joy and happiness. And I think too that also comes from going through some pretty serious health challenges over the last 28 years.
Hmm.
Getting cancer at 29, I was fearing my mortality. I didn't even know if I was going to be alive back then.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if I was going to like live long enough to have a child.
Hmm.
So I think that that's why now I don't really take myself too seriously.
Yeah. That's a very deep reflection for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And now being a postmenopausal woman, you literally cannot take yourself too seriously ever. Because we're like, there is so much going on inside, all these checks and balances, and some days we feel great, and some days we don't feel so hot. And I have days like that all the time,
Yeah.
as a woman. Even though I'm in the functional med biz, I'm still a human being, and and an entrepreneur, right, and running a
And
business.
some days are very hot.
It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Tell us a little bit about the difference between being a coach and having a brick and mortar business. They're obviously very different business models, and one you can do virtually anywhere, and
Right.
one you're attached to a building. You're attached to a really
Yeah.
large amount of responsibilities. You have the overhead, you have the staff that relies on you, you have the rent, you have all of these things that need to be fulfilled, and those are very different things, and you just
Yeah.
figured out how to make them all work together.
Yeah. Well, so far I think we have. There are different buckets. There's like 4 main buckets in my business. The coaching part, I live and die by a schedule. I have to have that. So I don't coach like today I'm physically covering my store, right? So Thursdays and Fridays, I'm physically here covering, so I'm not coaching. So I really try to keep coaching on the days when I have more flexibility. So my schedule is very, very, very structured. And especially, like you said, having the brick and mortar and coaching, like how do I do that? And the coaching part, sometimes I coach from home, sometimes I coach from here. Clients that physically are close to the store, they will come here for a coaching session, which I love. I mean, I just, I love the in person, but I love the virtual too. So, but yeah, they'll physically come here for a session. So, yeah.
What do you find the most enjoy joyful, or I'd rather, what do you enjoy most in the coaching part of the business?
The best thing that I absolutely love is when a client starts to connect the dots. And like it's literally like watching fireworks shoot off like within someone's like aura of themselves and their physical body, because and you literally watch the transformation happen right before your eyes, and it doesn't happen right away, obviously. Taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, that's a lot of work. It's a lot. It's like having another job.
It is.
So, watching that happen is literally one of the most rewarding experiences for me to watch and witness as a coach. It's incredible.
I love that. So how do you build your community? How do you find your community? Is it word of mouth? Is it referrals? Is it social media? Is it foot traffic in the town of Port Jeff, because it is notorious for really good foot traffic? So what are
Yeah.
the main sources of business driving to your businesses?
I think the first one is just, referral. That's number one, because people that have already worked with me, know how dedicated I am to a client. Clients will call me on the weekends. They'll text me outside of business hours and I respond. And I don't charge extra for that. So definitely, a referral. Yeah, social media. I mean, I don't have to tell you how much of a beast it is. It's a
Yeah.
beast. Um, I literally like I love it and I hate it every day. Social media. But yeah, I think our following that we now have on our Instagram page, that's all grown organically, literally. Follow by follow, click by click. So definitely people reaching out, through that, method as well. Yeah, and then obviously people just coming into the store thinking it's just products and wellness, and then they're like, "Oh, wait, this is all going on here too?" So yeah, so then I pick up clients, that way as well.
That's amazing.
Networking groups really have not been incredibly successful for me, to be honest. So there is an idea that I have, like the crazy person that I am,
Unbelievable.
probably in 2026, there's probably something else that I don't know, that I might try to birth, um, just to really help people in the wellness space where it's just wellness professionals. Um, so that might be something that we might want to do next
Ooh,
year.
she did not just drop a little tidbit for 2026. She did not.
Yes, I did. Yes, I
So,
did.
so that leads me to a whole other question. I know you just expanded and you just literally took over an entire second lease, right? So now
Yes,
you
we
have
did.
the entire building as of
Yeah,
August.
yeah.
Instead of just one story, you now two-story building. Yeah. So what is the plan going forward? Do you have a growth plan? Do you have an expansion idea of maybe a second location, maybe another town? Like, what does that look like? What does the unglued have to say about that?
Well, we've been approached already to open other locations. So the question is, where? I haven't really started prospecting other areas across Long Island, but that is something that's been on my radar literally since I opened last year.
Nice.
That I wanted to have more of these strategically placed. We've also gotten some ideas and options to almost be like a pop-up residency concept in various places across Long Island. So I'm kind of really, honestly, I'm like open to it all. I'm like, just download it and let's see what really feels in my heart. I am I am open always to receive. I have such an open mind. I don't ever like turn any idea, you know, I take it all in and then literally listen and see like what, what really resonates with my heart. So yeah, I mean, I would love to have more of these, across Long Island. It'd be great. Day spa concept. I mean, there's just so many different things that we could do with this, but yeah, it just has to be the right model.
Yeah. Um, this is amazing and fascinating that you're just like, all right, well, I'm going to do that. All right, well, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to add this and I'm going to do this. And, all of these ideas that are coming. And I can totally relate. I'm an idea generator as well, but I'm also an
Yeah,
executor. And I see that you are too. You don't just have an
yeah.
idea and just sit there and be like, oh, it's an idea.
And kind of sit on the idea.
You
I
actually
mean, the
do it.
one thing that I absolutely like, literally, is my favorite thing to do within my business is to collaborate with other wellness professionals, whether they're physically here renting space from me or they're not and they have their own space. That literally is like the ultimate favorite of mine because then when you do that together, the energetic vibration that lifts it's the most profound feeling. I can't even really explain it that well. But then, you're helping me, I'm helping you. And when you do that, it becomes a lot easier, the flow and the funnel for starting your own business or having this entrepreneurship. So just getting back to referrals and collaborative work, it's amazing, but it has to be reciprocal,
Yes.
like my word for 2026 is reciprocity. If it's not going to be reciprocal, then I can't, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And there are, some people and businesses out there where they're like, yes, let's grow together, but then it's very one-sided.
I can so relate to that.
Oh, I can imagine that you do. So I can't have that. But I think also when you're, kind of, it's not your first rodeo and you're evolved, you know very quickly, like you can really pinpoint that very quickly and know that you need to just not, it's a distraction, and just not waste your time,
Yeah. Yeah. I would so much agree with you. In 2026, my word is also reciprocity.
But when you find that little vibe and
Yeah.
tribe, it's like incredible. It's incredible. And it's magical when that all really, those pieces start to click together. And again, I mean, I would love to have like a big center where I've got all these wellness professionals together, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that will happen in my lifetime,
It
but
might.
we'll see.
You might be waking up in the middle of the night and be like, okay, we got to do this. We got to
It's
do
like,
this. Who knows? Maybe 20 Karen unleashed this whole new level.
right.
Yeah. I
Exactly.
love
Exactly.
that. I love it. I knew there was a lot between us of similarities that keeps us coming together for many. And,
Yep.
one of the things I wanted to mention on a podcast today, complete change of subject for a moment, that Karen just sponsored goodie bags for my retreat in Costa Rica, which was so well received. Everybody loved it so much. So
Oh,
many questions that were asked, and hopefully I answered them the best I could. And one of the connections that came out of it is one of the retreat participants who is a pelvic floor specialist.
yes. Yes.
I was like, when she was talking about a business model that she's looking to do, and she's like, well, I was looking into this place, but they weren't really enthusiastic. I'm like, I have the enthusiast for you.
Yes. Yeah, and we've already
I
met.
love that.
So then that little synergistic, that like is like the best thing ever. And I wouldn't have even known that she existed,
Yeah,
right? If it wasn't for
yeah,
you hosting the
yeah.
retreat, and us providing some beautiful little soaps that we have for your retreat, and then and it all kind of comes around. And again, it's that I love that ebb and flow of women working together and kind of, like, think how much easier it would be in the entrepreneurial space for women. Because really, if you think about it, and I think about this all the time, it's like we're all in the same boat and we all are paddling, but some of us are paddling really freaking hard and all by ourselves. And how great is it if we all get in the same boat and we're all paddling in the same direction? And women talk about, oh, well, I'm really supportive and I'm going to lift you up, but I don't know. There is a small microcosm of women that actually really walk that talk and breathe and live that, and I do. 100%. It's who I am as an individual. It's how I lead my life every day. My moral compass, is to be true and authentic and full of integrity, and do what I say and say what I do. That's how I live my life. But all paddling in the same boat in the same direction. Like, think about how easy it would be.
Wouldn't it be nice? I feel like humans have not figured that out yet.
No, they haven't.
And we're in, like, what, 21st century, approaching the end of it, 21.
No, they haven't. And my therapist, I go to a therapist every couple weeks and we talk a lot about this. I do a lot of professional development work with my therapist too. And we talk a lot about where we are as human beings right now, and are we in the space of unity or duality? There are some of us here, like myself and you and some of these key people, we're in the space of unity, but we have to kind of push out all that noise around us to still kind of create this unified paddling in the same direction mentality. And there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot. There's a
And
lot.
with the readily available information that's just flown at us, of
Yeah.
information all day, every day,
Yeah.
it's very
Right.
difficult to stay on course. And I think having that entrepreneurial fire really helps. It
Yes.
really helps. I feel like if I did not have that entrepreneurial gene per se, the unglued gene, I feel like I would be a lot more discouraged with the world and all the things that are going on. Instead, you're just, you wake up and you have that one goal of how do you create a better
Right.
place? How do you create a service or a product or
Right.
something that's of value to the community? How do you create that value? When you
Value.
have that kind of drive and that kind of fire in you, the rest of the information just becomes kind of irrelevant.
Well, and I think too, going back to my cancer diagnosis at 29, from that point forward, I really constantly, I always have in the back of my head, like, what is the impact that I'm going to make today? And what does that look like? And how am I going to serve myself, my family, God? How am I going to serve my community? Those are like the pillars of how I literally, like, from the moment I take a breath and wake up every morning, thank God, what does that look like? And one of the which obviously your space of what you also do with Wellbridge, I do some volunteering at Hope House, right? Um, and a long time ago, very sad, I was attending a funeral, but Father Frank, who runs Hope House, had said, to everyone that was sitting in this church, environment, said, at the end of him reading this eulogy and this, testament to who was there. What is your eulogy gonna be? What is it like if someone was to come up right now in front of the room and talk about you? What is it gonna stand for? Like, what is it gonna say? And literally, that was like the mic drop moment for me personally. So that's why I just, you just try to, like, just do the right thing, man. It's really not that
Not that
difficult.
hard. It's kindness is very free.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I always try to
Right.
remind people, I'm like, kindness is free and there's literally no cost.
to
Right.
you or anyone else involved. And what it does is
Yes.
it creates a way better world.
100%.
And I think a lot
100%.
of people think of the word wellness and they think of journaling or yoga or meditating on the beach or these complex things that they have to do. I have to go to the spa for the day to feel the wellness. But I think wellness really starts with you, with your lifestyle, with your kindness, with your openness, with your reciprocity, with all the things. It really does. And,
Inside.
I love that the name of your business is the Wellness Stop because the
Stop.
wellness that you created makes people stop, reflect, and be drawn into your space.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
And again, like take what they need. There are components of my business that are not going to resonate everything to everybody, right? But stop, pause, and take what you need to kind of fulfill yourself. But if you need all of these buckets that we have, we're
Yeah.
here and we've got all of it for you, to take
How did you
advantage
come
of.
up with the name for the business?
The wellness stop. It had to be wellness. It was a lot of, to be honest, we did a lot of Googling, like, and seeing like what names were out there already. I wanted the Wellness Nook, Wellness Within, but yeah, I was like, I don't know what it was. One day I was like, yeah, I'm like the Wellness Stop. I'm like, I just feel like that's got like a good
Yeah.
ring. And it was like to kind of create that stop sign for people, and the wake up call of, what we all need, and in my business, now all the stuff that's out in mainstream media about food and, different ways that we need to now really sit up and pay attention. Um, I like literally, it's like breathing a sigh of relief, that, I mean, look what's out in the media right now about ultra processed foods, right? 75% of our food supply is ultra
Yeah.
processed. So I've been saying that for 22 years. So now I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Like, it's out there and they're talking about it on ABC, NBC, all those big media stations. So that's a relief for me
Yeah.
because I'm like, great. Now it's going to really ripple out to everybody across the world about making some changes, hopefully in their diet and their lifestyle. So,
And I love how I honestly love how passionate you are about everything that you do and everything you're talking about. The fire and the passion are really felt and really present. And so I want to ask you, with that kind of fire and energy that you're bringing into your business and into this podcast today, and I'm sure you're bringing that full force to your customers, which is why you've created a community because people are coming to you
right,
for your energy. How do
right.
you replenish you?
Sure. Oh God, that's a great question. Um, Acupuncture every two
Okay.
weeks. I eat as clean as I can. I take all my supplements as much as I can remember. I drink a lot of water. I go on my red light bed 3 times a week. I pray and meditate almost every day. And I spend as much time with my family and my dogs as much as I possibly can. Literally. Like, and I do not have to like get on this soapbox about animals with you, but they literally are such a gift for us. And I know, I just can't. I can't.
He's been on my lap this entire time, making me
Such an
gross.
incredible gift. And can literally like recharge your batteries holding an animal, whether it's a cat or a dog or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's how I recharge my batteries, quite honestly. I go for facials once a month, and it's a lot. There is a lot of self-care, and I have no guilt about any of that.
Never
I
should
do not.
anyone.
I do not. Women don't want to, do it as often as they should. And I literally am like the poster child for giving you
Yeah.
permission for doing
Yeah.
that all the time.
I love that.
So yeah, so that's a few of the ways how I recharge my batteries and travel when I can. But lately, that's been a little sporadic.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
yeah,
you're growing a business that's just starting out. And, you know, in my first, I'd say 4 or 5 years of business, when I just opened my first brick and mortar, there was no travel on the table for me.
Right.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was attached to a building, and I could totally relate and understand. And,
Yeah.
you know, it'll come.
Yeah. Yeah. It will. It will. And also, you know, I just think that again, right? Like you do need to detach from your business. You have to do that. And give your nervous system a chance to kind of relax and settle in. So, you know, I don't want to give your viewers the impression that's literally like I am literally attached to this like an anchor. It is an anchor, but it's a good anchor. But you do need to also detach and disconnect and unplug.
Yeah.
So, and again, I think having a team, you know, I have, like I said, I have some employees and, you know, some social media people that we've recently kind of collaborated with.
Yeah.
So having that is really, really
Yeah.
helpful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could not have said it better myself. This has been absolutely amazing. I am
Aw, thank
so
you.
grateful for the energy that you brought to this podcast, and you've recharged me and inspired me to keep on going. You know, that's how entrepreneurship is. I feel that
Yeah.
once you meet that sparkle, your own fire gets relit. You know,
Yeah.
fire starting in an entrepreneurship, you go through phases. You know, you have that fire, and then sometimes you're really tired and that fire just low, you know, still
Yeah.
burning, but you need that sparkle to be
Yes.
thrown back in. You need that,
We do.
you know.
We do. And I feel like networking groups should be like networking and also a support group at the same
Yeah.
time. Like we really need that because I think we do need our batteries like recharged where, you know, we're in a room and I'm giving you a little
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I'm really excited to see what you have cooking for 2026.
well, hopefully you'll be a part of it. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I absolutely must. I would love to obviously be in your vicinity, since you're such a charging station for all the positivity and humor.
That's so
Humor
funny.
is
A charging
your
station.
charging station. I just, you know, I always hope that I can give back in some way, and,
Yeah.
you know, however I can show up for you, and we can
Thank you.
exercise reciprocity.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all it's about.
Yes. 2026. Woo!
Yeah.
We're almost there.
Yeah. So before we log off, just tell our listeners where they can find you and how they can support you.
Sure. Social media, of course, the Wellness Stop PJ, thewellnessstop.com is our website. And then again, our brick and mortar located here in Port Jefferson, New York at 146 East Main Street. Yep.
I love this. Thank you so much again. I am super
You're welcome,
excited to
Nina. Thank
release
you.
this episode, and I'm wishing you and all our listeners a wonderful week.
Thank you.